Alright, the first thing that I want to do is kind of explain what these layer masks are. They're pretty much like a template on top of your image. So if you look at this, black hides information, white shows information. So if I take a look at this one here, you can see that it hides anything that was not selected, and that's what layer masks do. So if I go back to this one, what I want to do is I want to reveal the mask underneath his arm here because it's a little dark. So I'm just going to zoom in and I'm going to select this layer mask. If you look at, there's little boxes around your actual thumbnail and there's a box around the layer mask. So I can go and I can use any selection tool. You know, if I wanted to, I can use this lasso tool. I'm not going to use this, but I mean, unless it turns out real good, then I'll keep it. But you can use this lasso tool and you can fill that in. Okay, so if you look, let me undo it for you. If you look over here on the top, this on the color switcher, if it's white, we want to reveal that, so we want that to come back. So to get that, the shortcut is to press Alt Backspace. Alt Backspace brings that back. Now if I zoom out, it's not terribly bad, but I don't like how that looks. So I'm gonna do a different thing. I'm gonna press Control Z to undo it, and only does that once. Control Alt Z goes back more than one step. So instead of using that, I am going to use my paintbrush. If I press the right bracket, it makes that brush bigger. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this fade in. So I'm gonna take my opacity up here, I'm gonna take it down to about 10%, and then whenever I click on this, it fades it. Okay, if I switch it to black, it fades it. So I don't necessarily want it to look super blurry, so I'm gonna take my, but I don't want it to look like I just kind of cut it out either. So you want to have a good mixture. Okay, so I don't think that's too terrible. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do the same thing to all the areas that I think could use some layer masking. So you just need to make sure that you are actually selecting that layer. So if I select this one and you select that layer mask, you know, if I make this brush a little bigger, I can blend that in a lot better so that it doesn't look like, oh, I just cut this out. So that's how you use this layer mask tool. It's really important that when you do take your pictures, that the images, you have the same exposure for each image. So let's say you messed up, you, like for example, I'll show you right here on this arm. See how it looks kind of faded? It looks like I faded his arm out. So what you can do, really easy, go over here, switch it back to white. Once you switch it to white, I can put those tones right back. So black makes it disappear, white makes it reappear. Okay. Alright, so that is looking alright. So now I need to work on this area here, and I'm going to pause this video, and when it pops back up, it should be fixed. One tip that I will give you guys is that an easy way to kind of edit this, you might get something like this where if you take part of it away, it's going to reveal the other one. Something like, you know, this here where I can reveal the bottom layer, but it's taking away my top one. One quick tip is if I press X, I can switch that back to white. So I'm switching from black to white constantly, black to white constantly, black to white, black to white, so that it's easier for me to do that. So I know right now that I need to reveal. So I'm going to switch it to white. And again, you want to zoom in. You want to zoom in as far as you can. I think the further in you zoom in, Control plus, the more accurate it will be. I mean, you don't want to get this far in when you start seeing pixels, but you want to zoom far enough in so that you can erase what you need to erase. Okay. Another thing you want to make sure you do is go around your image and make sure that there aren't any parts that are lighter than other parts. I'm just going around the parts that I know that I did not blend in very well. So for example, this right here, you see how those are two totally different colors? So I'm going to find that layer that has that on there. I'm going to select the layer mask, and I'm going to turn down my opacity, not to 10%, a little bit higher than that, and I'm just going to make my brush a tad bit bigger so that it blends a little better. Try not to, blend over, important parts like the face or parts of the body, but I'm just kind of going along the edges, and I'm make that a little smaller, and I'm taking these outlines out. Okay, so just make sure you do that, and that way it looks a little bit more natural. Okay. Alright, the last couple things that we're going to do is we're going to crop this. So I'm going to get my crop tool. Again, this is C, so the crop tool works a little different. If for some reason that you're cropping it and it looks real small, you just need to make sure you clear your crop tool up here. So now that I cropped it, I'm going to go in, I'm going to save as a PSD. Just click save. You can see where it's up here at the top. It should tell you if it's a PSD or whatever type of format it is, and then after you save it, you're gonna go save for web and devices. Alright, have fun.